guys, George back again with another LP and CD update. This one's for June 12th, 2012. Got the month right this time. Got a lot of used stuff this week. I try to hold off to save some cash for the Vinyl Palooza that's happening out in Pittsburgh at Jerry's Records on this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be heading up there Friday morning. Hopefully get out there before it ends Friday night and then go again Saturday morning. But I wanted to do a real quick update. I got a bunch of vinyl, a bunch of used stuff this week, so I figured jump right into it. Hopefully this won't take too long, but I got a lot of stuff. So first up is Bo Diddley's 16 all-time greatest hits. This is the original pressing on Checker Records, which is a part of Chess Records. The vinyl's in mint. The cover's about very good except for masking tape. Couldn't get that off, but killer. I'm hoping to get some of the earlier Bo Diddley stuff on vinyl, but I was glad to find that for cheap. Next up is a band that I was turned on to by the guys at Shady Dog Records. Actually, it's not a band, it's a guy. Robert Gordon. Real 50s rock and roll. These were recorded in the 70s. This is Robert Gordon with Link Ray and Are You Gonna Be the One? Really killer records. If you like 50s rock and roll, like Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, that kind of stuff, Little Richard, I suggest checking out Robert Gordon. I heard of him, never heard him until this year, so it was cool to find something that was done 20 years after, you know, the whole 50s rock stuff. And he does it very well. Really good stuff. Next up is the sealed Fats Domino Volume 2. This is called Blueberry Hill. Just a best of Everest Records. I think put out in the late 60s. Like I said, this one's still sealed. I haven't opened that yet. Probably keep that one sealed since I got so many other Fats, including this one here. Double LP greatest hits. This was put out in the 70s, I think, 71, 72, something like that. Really killer shape. I've always seen this, never picked it up, but I got it for dirt cheap, so killer. Next up is Johnny Mathis, all-time greatest hits. It's actually sideways, but always loved Johnny Mathis. Again, he was one of those guys that I heard as a kid all the time. So I got this for like 25 cents. And I got Johnny's newest hits, the stereo original pressing from I think like 1965 or something like that. I haven't listened to this yet. I don't really know. I'm not familiar with anything on this stuff, on this album I mean, but pretty killer. Next up is Jello Biafra with the Melvins. This is called Never Breathe What You Can't See. Really killer record, I thought. I know there's another one out there which I don't have, but I found this for like $5. Figured I'd add it to the collection. Pretty cool. I like the Melvins. I love Jello Biafra, but pretty cool record. Next up is a weird one I found for like $1. It's the original Artists of Rock and Roll. It's got like Bill Haley, Big Bopper, James Brown, the Safaris, but it was like a promotional item given away by Kmart in 2004. I don't know what kind of, you know, what possessed them to press this or do it, but it was cool. It's kind of a cool little collection. Next up is a couple Billy Idol 12 inches. This is Dancing With Myself. With Love Calling, the dub version, and White Wedding and Hot in the City. I think this is one of the earliest Billy Idol singles. I'm not 100% though, but it's pretty killer. And White Wedding Shotgun Mix. White Wedding Part 1 and 2. It also has a Mega Idol mix, which has got Flesh for Fantasy, Hot in the City, and Dancing With Myself. It's kind of like the same tracks, but this is like remixes. But I've always been a big Billy Idol fan, big Gen X fan, so figured I'd get them. Next up is Susie Quattro, if you only knew, or if you knew Susie. I always loved her. Kind of like the female version of the Sweet. Matter of fact, Chapman and Chim, who wrote a lot of the early Sweet stuff, wrote a lot of stuff for her. Of course, she was Leather Tuscadero on Happy Days. But as a musician, she's killer. I always liked her. I always thought it was killer. She does, on this album, she does a cover of Tired of Waiting from the Kinks, Breakdown from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Rick Danger's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, which I thought's cool. I mean, the album's great. You know, this is a great record. You know, I think the Leather Tuscadero thing kind of ruined her career, maybe, but killer. Killer Runaways type stuff, too. Next up is the greatest hits of Casey and the Sunshine Band. Always liked Casey. Again, I grew up with this stuff. A lot of my aunts, my two aunts who are a couple years older than I am, listened to disco and R&B in the 70s and 80s, so I always heard this stuff, and this was only $1, so figured why the hell not. Next up is the Chris Robinson's Brotherhood. This is a brand new studio album from Chris Robinson. I didn't really know what to think of this. It's real Grateful Dead sounding, but in a good way. I'm not a Dead fan at all, but I do like Chris's stuff. Real jam bandy. There's only 8 songs on here, but it's a double album. Really cool though. This one's called Big Moon Ritual, and I know he has another album coming out in September, another studio album. I think obviously all the songs were recorded during the same session, so I'll be curious to hear that. But if you like Black Crowes, it's not really Black Crowes except for the vocals. I mean, obviously it's Chris Robinson, but it's more like jam band, like Allman Brothers and Grateful Dead kind of stuff. Really cool though. I liked it a lot. Which I said, I'm not a Dead fan at all. So next up is the original first pressing of the Aerosmith self-titled record. This is before they added featuring Dream On under the logo. This was just a couple bucks, but figured I'd get the first pressing to see if there's any difference sound-wise. I know sometimes they have like the different mixes and stuff. Next up is the Birth of the Beatles. This was a collection. Obviously, they've done a whole ton of bands and artists, but this one's like all the early stuff, like Twist and Shout, Kansas City, Roll Over Beethoven. This is killer. It's an import, obviously. Really cool record. I'm a big Beatles fan, so I was really happy to find this one. I have a couple other in this series. I think this is the only Beatles one. You know, there's 100 listed on the back, so I don't know. I have the Rolling Stones one. I think there's a couple different Stones ones, but I think this is the only Beatles one. Pretty cool though. Next up is the Who Magic Bus in My Generation Deluxe 2 LP set. I've always seen this, but I never pulled the trigger and picked it up before. I don't have either one, and it's, you know, by themselves, so I figured why not. This was only a couple bucks, so, and it's in great shape. Next up is a killer brand new band. Well, they're not new, but they're new to me because I haven't heard them before. I've read about them before. They're a UK band. They just put a brand new record out, which I ordered. Hopefully that'll be here sometime next week. But I got their first album. The band's called The Hit Priests. This is called Tight and Exciting. Really punk, killer hard rock punk band from England. This one's on Bootleg Booze Records and Sonic Dirt Recordings. I got this fairly cheap for a UK import. It was like 12 bucks or something like that, but I love this record. I think this is a great record, and I really look forward to the new one that, like I said, I'll be getting next week sometime. I'm going to try and find this on disc, because I think the CD has a couple extra tracks. I'm not 100% about that, but really killer. And I know the UK version of the new one, it's got a different artwork and stuff than the CD, so I might try and find that on CD as well. One I never heard of, Class of 55. This features Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, and Johnny Cash. It's called the Memphis Rock and Roll Homecoming. I never heard this before. I haven't listened to it yet, but I was very intrigued by it. I love all those artists that are on this. I just think it's a really cool, cool set, and I want to hear it soon. I'll probably listen to it tonight. They do some old stuff and I guess some newly written stuff, but this was put out in 1986 on Polygram. Like I said, I've never seen it before. I'm sure it's kind of common, but whatever. Next up is Elvis, That's the Way It Is. This was mint condition, still sealed. I opened it to listen to it. I opened it to hear him do Bridge Over Troubled Water and You've Lost That Loving Feeling, but I like this a lot. This is the stereo pressing. I'm a huge Elvis fan as well, so my mother was a huge Elvis fan, so she turned me on pretty young to Elvis Presley. Next up is an import best of Creedence Clearwater Revival. I think this is Italian import. I'm not 100%, and I think it's Italy. This one's kind of beat up. It was only like 50 cents, but I gotta clean it again to see if I can get some of the gunk off it. But I just thought it was cool. The cover's different and pretty killer. Next up is the Ramones Pleasant Dreams. This is the reissue 180 gram vinyl, which I had no idea they had done. So I was happy to find this. This was used, but mint condition, really killer. I love this record. And the next up is The Faces, Ooh La La. Never had this on vinyl. I got it on CD from Japan, I think, like when they reissued the Japanese discs years ago before the US ones. But I was happy to find this. I love The Faces. I'm a big Rod Stewart fan, early Rod Stewart fan. Next up, I got 3 AC/DC bootlegs. Like I said, they're my favorite band, so anything I can find, I usually try and pick up. First off is the Palladium, New York City, 1980, August 1st, 1980, 2 LP set. Comes with the CD of the whole show, audience recording, but a great one. It's a really good audience recording. This is from the Back in Black tour, I believe. Yeah, Back in Black tour. Awesome though. If you could find this, snag it. Next up is Cunning Stunts. This is from Europe, 1977. This also comes with the CD, the whole show. Soundboard, I believe. Yeah, soundboard. Really cool though. Cool artwork. Killer. And lastly is Dirty Big Balls. This is the original pressing, gatefold. I know they've done other pressings of this that aren't the gatefold and colored vinyl and all that stuff, but this is the original pressing, gatefold pressing. So this is from, I don't know, no date, but this is from the Highway to Hell tour. But this sounds okay. I love that artwork. I think that artwork's amazing. That's it for the vinyl this week. I only got 2 CDs to show. First off, I did get the LA Guns, Hollywood Forever. This does have the 4 extra tracks that I talked about the last update I did. Great record. I was surprised, but so I figured I got that. And last, I got the Biters. This is a live show from Philadelphia. Bootleg, which I knew when I got it. It was a download only with the artwork and everything, so I just did the artwork for it. I printed it out and so I could show it. Really killer show though. Sounds amazing. It's from like 3 days ago. Yeah, June 9th. So if you can find that online, it's a free download. If not, PM me, I'll send you a link to where it's at. Like I said before, I think this band's going to be huge. At least I hope they will be. They're a really good band. But anyway, that's it for this week. I will be doing a DVD and Blu-ray update before I head out to Pittsburgh, hopefully before I head out to Pittsburgh. And I'll be doing an update next week, an LP and CD update with all the stuff from Jerry's. Hopefully there's a ton. Anyway, thanks again for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you all soon. Alright, see you.